Hello, guys. Welcome to another beautiful episode of Truth and Banter. And yes, you guys have converged. You know, when Captain America says, Avengers, assemble, they've assembled once again to give you a whole lot of exciting discussions about the latest happenings in the world of football. Without further ado, we're going to dive in straight into the topics that we have today. I mean, the burning one that has happened over the past week is the AFCON. The AFCON has been in the news. As you well know, AFCON will be played in December in Morocco again. Last winners were Ivory Coast. Now, Sky Sports pundit or an ex Liverpool player, Jammie Carragher, sort of like, he dismissed the importance or how huge AFCON is. And there's been so much backlash in the media from different corners, especially in the African corner. A lot of people have had to say, oh, this guy is talking the nonsense. And then the notable names in the media space in terms of football, Africans, they've come out in one and just bashed him. He's come out to clarify. Basically, what he did is he sort of insinuated that AFCON is not a big tournament and it does not play a part in, um, for example, a player winning the world best. And this is in relation to Salah, who's having a phenomenal season, by the way. I'm going to bring in Ola Salam here. Does Jammie Carragher, does he have a point? Is AFCON that big? Should he play a part in, for example, should he play a major part in Salah winning the world best or Ballon d'Or?
For me, this English media, I think ex-football players just come online to say a lot of things and yap about a lot of bullshit. And if you see this, most people that actually come online to yap about it are people that did not actually make a resounding, how would I say it, impact in their career. Because I really don't know why Jammie Carragher is going to say something like that. I mean,
must you have done something significant in your career to be a football pundit?
No, I mean, anybody can speak about football. Anybody can actually speak about football. But if you are an ex-footballer and you have the advantage to be a pundit, I think a lot of things you say should be put out from your own perspective as a football player. So every player always wants to win with their home country, their birth country. Do you understand? And you see how they fight for it. I mean, even some players like Lewandowski, I don't think he has ever thought his team or is going to win the Euros. Do you understand? But he shows up every time to the World Cup. I mean, they do the little they can do and they cheer their fans on. So if he's actually an ex-footballer and he talks from that perspective, I mean, everything he said is bullshit. It's bullshit.
Okay, I want to ask a question. Jammie Carragher has said it's not that big of a coin, the same level as the Euros and the World Cup. It doesn't play a major part in the Ballon d'Or. Is he wrong for actually saying that? Is the reality on ground? Is AFCON big enough to sway the minds of people and say, oh, this person won AFCON, then he has a shot at winning the Ballon d'Or? Is it that big of a competition?
The AFCON is a very big competition. The AFCON is just like Euros, definitely. It's like Copa America. The only problem with AFCON is our leaders. That's the only problem. I mean, the input into the tournament, the media, the money, and I think Mikel Obi said the bureaucracy. That's the only problem with AFCON. AFCON is a very big tournament. So I don't know what he meant by it's not that big of a tournament. It's a very big tournament.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to bring in Show now. Show. Carragher said this. There's been a lot of backlash. I mean, he's got some support in some quarters. People like Simon Jordan on Talksport have said people are just choosing to be, they're choosing to be offended. That the reality on ground says different. He says AFCON does not sway people's minds. Do you think he has a point?
Okay. He may be right, but on the other hand, it may also be wrong. So I'll start with this. He may say that AFCON do not sway the mind of the people who will probably be voting for the Ballon d'Or. He may be right. He may be wrong. I mean, we could both be right or wrong. I mean, there's no right yes or no answer to that. However, he cannot say that AFCON is not a big competition. Everything in life is about context. Okay, the Euros of course, you do not. It doesn't expect Egypt to come and play in the Euros. It's not possible. Likewise, you wouldn't see Argentina come and play in the Euros. So the Euros is to the Europeans. The North Americans play, sorry, South Americans play their own competition. There's this other one where Asians and the other side plays, and Africans plays, AFCON. Now, we may say that, yeah, AFCON, maybe because of, it's Africans, there's not so much publicity like the Euros. Yeah. Just like the South American Cup too, do not really have that kind of publicity like the Euros. Yes, they do not. Of course, because we have legendary players who have, who come from South America. Yeah, people may say, yeah, I mean, it's a good competition, it's a big competition as well, but it's not as big as the Euros. So he cannot say that the AFCON is not, no, is that's absolute gibberish. And I think I totally disagree.
I think we should put it in context. I don't think he completely disregarded and said no, it's not a big competition. But he said in terms of winning the Ballon d'Or, right? I'm going to bring Jets in now. Do you believe that the level of football played in the AFCON should be regarded side by side as being the same level of, for example, in Copa or in the Euros?
Yeah, AFCON, it should be it's the same international competition, but like the level of the harsh reality is that the level is not the same because like the AFCON, we don't get the same funding with these guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about things like quality of play?
Quality of play. Quality of play is not quality of play.
Quality of opposition.
It's not on the same level.
It's not the same level. So what?
Well, like it should be regarded as like the same international competition, like regards to what this Jammie Carragher guy said.
Yeah. So is he wrong for spotting this out and saying because the level of competition is not high in AFCON, right? Should it sway people's minds or the journalists' mind when they are voting for the Ballon d'Or? Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to pass that question on to Dele. Should that sway people's minds that because of the level of competition in this part of the world in AFCON does not measure up to the level in Euros, in Copa? I don't want to go as far as saying in Oceania or in Asia. It's a fact, right? And maybe the coefficient of FIFA when big teams in Africa play each other, it doesn't actually add up to their coefficients. You don't see people rising up in the rankings. It's because they don't feel the level of competition is in there. Is Jammie Carragher wrong? Is he wrong for pointing this out?
Okay, for me, I think I would say first, don't shoot the messenger, pick the message. I think the one of the main issues is Jammie Carragher has said a lot of controversial things. If it was someone else who said that, we all know that he's correct in context of them choosing who's the best player in the world. For example, Zambia. I think there was a time they got to the final or maybe they won. When the best player in that group, was he considered for the world best, even top 100? No. Maybe because Jammie Carragher said it, that's why everybody's like, oh yes. But if you actually listen to what he said in context to voting for African, the world best, yes, that's how everybody up there feels. In context of, okay, is he a big competition? Of course. Asian Cup or Gold Cup or what is that called? For them in Asia, it's also a big cup. But for we in Africa, we'll probably look at it like Asian Cup. Who is there? The same way the Europeans will look at African Nations Cup. That okay, it's just okay. 1, 2, 3 players there. But for me, I think he's correct. Maybe he could have worded it in a different way. I don't know. Because let's be honest. Whatever Salah is doing now, imagine Salah was European or maybe French, and he's having these numbers. There's no way he won't be constantly in the world best. So for me, I think he's right. But because of whatever he has said in the past or how controversial he is, that's why everybody's taking it out of context for me.
Okay, so what I'm going to now is Salah is having a phenomenal season. He's an assist, contributions, 5 leagues. Does he have to go and win the AFCON to stand a chance the Ballon d'Or, or be just by the way? If he wins should that be what seals it, or should it of on the merit of the season that he's having?
So absolutely no. Before Messi actually won a major tournament for Argentina, we saw how he was doing in the world stage. FIFA uses different criteria for people to win the Ballon d'Or. So you mentioned goal and assist. You mentioned
No, it's not FIFA this time, or it's that does Ballon d'Or. It's the French
okay, sorry,
magazine
yeah, the
by the okay. Go on.
coaches and captains, yeah. So
No, no,
generally,
no. No, it's voted by
yes,
journalists.
sorry,
Journalists.
journalist. I don't think he has to win the AFCON to seal it. I mean, I can be performing in my club, and my country is shit. Do you understand? I mean, we have seen different phenomenal
Mhm.
players across the world. So nobody's going to watch Venezuela and Bolivia. I don't think I've ever watched that game, or Colombia and Venezuela. So what Carragher said, I think, just like Dele said, maybe he could have been rewarded. But the fact that he actually says, "Oh, AFCON is something, something," whatever way he said it, I think he just put everything below what people expected from him. Because, I mean, if it was somebody that has won the Euros, and I mean, are you going to say Jude Bellingham is not a world class player because England has not won the Euros? You're not going to say that. So I mean, everybody knows the money put into European football. If you are going to actually allow most of these Africans to play in their country, you will see people like Mbappe playing for different teams. So does that actually mean because France did not win the Euros? Okay, now look at who won the last Euros. Spain. If you are talking about the top 5 players in the world, are you going to put the highest goal scorer of the tournament there? That's this guy, Dani Olmo. No, you're not going to put him. I mean, even though he's having a phenomenal season, not as we expected because of injuries, but I just feel Jammie Carragher spoke out of point. Yeah, spoke out of point. I mean, of course, everybody knows AFCON is not that publicized. It's not that big when it comes to the capital, the audience around the world that watches the game, but it is a big tournament. And talking down on AFCON is a big slap on my own face and as an African.
I get what all of you are saying. If you are going to agree that what he said was not wrong, so what's the backlash for? Why is people like John Obi Mikel? I'm going to take this to show. Why is people like John Obi Mikel, Okocha? Why is everyone bashing him? It has happened before that someone's won an AFCON, then he's he's in the shout of what's it called, of winning the Ballon d'Or, or the just based off the fact that he won the AFCON.
Okay, I'd like to start with this. Winning either the Euros, the South American Cup, the African Nations Cup does not guarantee that you're going to be in the Ballon d'Or. Let's start with that. It's a fact. In fact, I had to quickly, do my own little research. Apart from Spain, who won the Euros now, and Rodri, as controversial as it may seem to many people, well, even though to me, he totally deserve it. Okay. Now, 2020, Italy won the Euros. Okay. And in 2020, this guy, what's his name? Lewandowski was supposed to win the Ballon d'Or, but it was scrapped because of COVID.
Yeah.
Not one player from, I think people, of course, Chelsea guys were banting that, Jorginho and the like. But we know they won the Euros. But everyone knows that Jorginho will not, who was like the best player in Italy at the time, their best player in the tournament. Everybody knows that it's not possible. He cannot win it. Okay. Now, in 2012, Spain won the Euros. Okay. In 2012, Lionel Messi won the Ballon d'Or. We all know Messi in 2012. Messi had not won South American League. Their cup. He hasn't. In 2000, in 2000 that's 2008. Spain also won the Euros. Okay. In 2008, Cristiano Ronaldo was the Ballon d'Or winner. Do you get? In 2004, Greece won it. In 2004, Andriy Shevchenko from North Greece, Ukraine, won the Ballon d'Or. So even the Euros does not totally determine who wins the Ballon d'Or. I think that's first thing we need to clarify. Now, secondly,
But does he add to it? Does he add to it? Does he add to
maybe
the
it can,
to
maybe, because if you win the Euros, if you have a very great season, in during the season in the in whatever league you're playing, okay, maybe you win the Champions League or something,
Yeah.
you have a fantastic season,
Mhm.
yeah, and
Yeah.
don't forget that you will be competing with other guys. If those other guys go ahead and win something extra, well, of course, we all know that they will be ahead of you. If you win La Liga, Salah wins, what is it called now? Salah wins the league with
Yeah.
Liverpool. Let's say both Madrid and then Liverpool doesn't win the Champions League, then Salah go ahead and win the AFCON. And maybe Mbappe or Vinicius, none of them won any extra thing. Salah should ideally be ahead of them. But of course, voting pattern can be funny. Anything that has, people vote for many reasons. And I don't want to go into those details. But yes, you cannot say that because Salah's numbers and what he has achieved during that year, which is the basis for
Yeah.
Ballon d'Or, he should be ahead of them. But
Yeah.
you know how some of these things can be funny. We've seen in Nigeria voted against in Nigeria, whom other country, who other country journalists feel deserve it. But in some Nigerians who are
Yeah.
journalists said no, she does not deserve it. So I mean, voting can happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So no worries. I mean, the only thing I think I'm just disappointed with is Carragher, who I feel as a pundit, can start agendas and end agendas. Did not use the opportunity to pick up, and I think this is just stemming from his beef with Salah all year because he's decided not to sign a contract at Liverpool, and I think he's making him a bit biased against Salah. That's what I think. Did you have any last words before we move on?
Yeah, I think so. You kind of misunderstood what we're saying. We're not saying winning whatever is going to your nation's cup is going to automatically give you the world best. What we're saying is going to give you a shout. I like the perfect example you gave for Jorginho. Jorginho in Chelsea, I can't remember that season if it was that fantastic. I don't know. Maybe Chelsea fans would remember. But I think the only reason he got there was because of Italy getting the Euros. Now, that season or a season before, close to that, whenever
Chelsea won Champions League that season, bro.
okay, so Chelsea what did he it was fantastic.
Champions League.
Because this same
Yeah.
show said
He was the midfielder of the season in
yes, so
Champions
why
League.
so Show that is correct to be there. Because I was trying to tackle what Show was saying. Maybe he didn't have a fantastic, but he played in Europe. I think the basic fact here is these awards, who actually owns the award? It's the Europeans now. So they will always be biased towards whether one journalist is doing this. But the journalists who are actually voting, they do not value AFCON. Maybe to a certain stage, yes. For you to get a shout out in a war best, even if you win AFCON, you have to play in one of those top 5 leagues and have a very good season. That is just as simple as that.
Okay. So I'm not so sure if I know the journalists are worldwide, and I know there's a particular. I think one journalist per country, and there's this journalist from Nigeria. I forgot his name. Who actually didn't vote? He didn't vote Osimhen? Yeah, I think the year that Osimhen was ranked, was he 7 or 8? He didn't vote Osimhen on that list. I think he voted Messi, and even the people from those countries, they voted their countryman. I know that had a lot of controversy. I see that OPK is here. OPK, do you have any last words before we move on to the next topics?
Okay, so I think from good evening. I think from what I heard, I think you guys were discussing about Carragher's comment. Yeah, but I think it's quite unusual, but I think I agree with Daily there because I think it was just wrong words to use. In Africa we are more like we know this. We know our continent is bad, but don't tell us that it's bad. Let us tell that it's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think what he meant in that context was the fact that Salah does not have the edge because AFCON does not have that publicity. Like people don't rate it as much as people will rate someone that won Euro or something. So I think that was what I was trying. But I think Salah will have a great shout if he wins the Champions League.
Even
and
without the
maybe
Champions League, though, if whoever wins the
yeah,
Champions League doesn't win the league, he should still have a shout because based off the season that he's having.
No, but I think that's never been, except for Ronaldo and Messi, that everything was based off of goal and assist. I think after them, now people they give cognizance to what have you won. So I think someone will not just win Premier League and you will say you is the world best player. But I don't think that will happen.
Yeah, but what if the other people, like the other people there, the only thing they have to show is also I won the league.
But I think
Not
the
I
person
won
that
a
is going to
competition.
win the Champions League will probably that's going to win the Ballon d'Or will probably have the Champions League or a international trophy to it. I don't think someone was just going
Okay.
to win a league.
In this year of review, there's no international trophy. It will only be AFCON, which is why this has come into play. AFCON is the only international trophy to be played.
Yeah, but
That will
there will
happen
be Champions
in
League.
December.
If there's no there will be Champions League. So
Yeah. There'll be Champions League. There's always Champions
yeah,
League
so
every year. But what sets them apart? Like, what's his name? Rodri didn't win the Champions League
but he
that
won
season,
Euro.
but he
Yeah.
won the Euros, right? And that played a part. In the previous year, it was actually better, but he didn't win it for some reason. Anyway, we'll see how that pans out. We're gonna move on to Spain now. Things are happening in Spain. Things are happening in Madrid. They've actually lost today. We're recording this on the Saturday. They've lost today to Real Betis, and King Anthony was on the field for Real
Anthony the
Betis.
God.
Real Anthony the GOAT. He was on the field for Real Betis as they beat Madrid 2-1. Now, things are happening because we know they brought Mbappe into the club, and we know that I won't say he has struggled, but he's actually been doing what he knows how to do best. He's been scoring goals. And if you look at the numbers, he's been actually outperforming you can say the current king of Madrid, which is Vinny Jr. He lost out in the Ballon d'Or. Came, said, "Oh, I'm going to do it. If I have to do it 10 times, I'm going to do it 10 times, right? Do each other." But he hasn't actually, lived up to expectations in this season, right? I think he has like what? Is it one goal in four? Is it 4 months? How many goals in 4 months? It's not his best season so far. And for someone who wants to actually be considered as the best in the world for the next Ballon d'Or, he's not living up to expectation. Mbappe, is outperforming him. So that now begs the question: is Mbappe slightly or overwhelming taking over that tag of the King of Madrid? Is he becoming the main man for Vinicius? Is he stepping into that role and Vinicius is just slowly stepping away from the limelight? I'm going to start with our Spanish correspondent. Do you think this is what is happening right now?
I think with the Madrid team I think they play with more freedom when Mbappe is on the pitch. Because if you look at Mbappe's stats since Vini's stats this season, Vinicius has only scored 1 goal in La Liga. And this was actually from an assist from Mbappe in over 3 months. Vinicius was sidelined for a while, and ever since he got back, the team stopped winning. I think most people said because he maybe wants to take his crown back or because he wants to dribble everybody on the pitch and all that. And if you see Rodrigo, I think Rodrigo's impact too has also reduced. Rodrigo has not scored a single goal since Mbappe has come back. I mean, in the La Liga. Madrid has won one La Liga match since Vinicius Jr. actually returned. So, I mean, it's very difficult to put, but for me, I am a big fan of Mbappe. Every time I get to talk about it, I'm so happy to talk about it. I'm a big fan of Mbappe. I really don't like Vinicius' attitude when it comes to play football. I mean, you are a Brazilian, but never forget there are 1,001 Brazilians that are more skillful than Vinicius Jr. You only just have the platform. So Mbappe has proved himself on different occasions. Mbappe has actually played with the big boys. Has been playing with the big boys since about 5-6 years ago. So I just knew it's going to be a matter of time before Mbappe settles down. And let me tell you something. When Mbappe really settles down, the Mbappe I know in the World Cup, before the World Cup, the Mbappe I know, when he settles down, I'm very sure he's going to kick Vinicius Jr. out of that position. I mean, Real Madrid just have to buy a different 9. If they actually want to see the best of Mbappe, they need to buy a striker and let Mbappe go to Vinicius Junior's wing. I think Vinicius Junior will probably leak because his attitude doesn't even show that he's ready to change. That's the reason why he couldn't even win the Ballon d'Or.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna go to Show now. Show in I mean, looking at it objectively, before Mbappe came into this thing, could we make a case for Mbappe and say he's actually a bigger player in terms of football wise? Now I'm not saying whether better player or not. I'm saying bigger player in terms of brand. Do you think the Mbappe brand is bigger than the Vini brand? And right now is what we are seeing at play at Madrid.
Okay, of course, Mbappe has always been and is still a bigger brand than Vinicius. One thing is this: both of them have different skill sets. Okay, and I do not think that. Of course, Mbappe will always be the poster boy of Madrid. That has always been, of course, the fan.
Mbappe or Vini?
Mbappe, the fact that he was coming to Madrid, as long as Ronaldo is not there, he will come and be the poster boy. It's clear. Nobody needs to even argue that. Okay. Of course, Madrid cherish hierarchy and the likes and all of those things. But hey, this is Mbappe, big boy from where he was coming from. I mean, do you get? So is Mbappe. Now, I personally do not think that Mbappe will kick Vinicius out. I think Olasalam added some bit of emotion and bias. Vinicius has something more than Mbappe, and that is creation of chances, even in tight spaces. Vinicius will do that. Yeah. Mbappe is the better goal scorer than Vinicius, but Mbappe cannot create more chances than Vinicius. No. Vinicius will create
Do you think
chances.
Mbappe
And Mbappe will score?
Do you think if Mbappe was playing on the left?
Okay.
Do you think if Mbappe was playing on the left, he would, showcase his creation? I mean, his chance creation,
Yeah.
skills.
Yeah.
If he wasn't being forced to play as a striker.
Okay. I don't mean that Mbappe do not create chance, please. Don't get me wrong. What I'm saying is Vinicius is the better chance creator. Yeah. He does that more than Mbappe. Yeah. I mean, if you watch the game well, if you watch, Mbappe is very direct. What he wants is put the ball at the back of the striker and they will go a 50-50. If you don't do that, you can still put it in my leg anyway, and I'll, blow past the defender. But Vinicius, if you watch Vinicius, he wants to get down with the defender and, destroy whatever defender it is that is standing right there in front of him, whether you guys are 2 or 3 or something like that. So, but and of course, this, you can also try and, do a little sampling. Check Madrid's fan account and see Vinicius creates chances more than Mbappe. It's clear. There's no two ways about it. But Mbappe is a better goal scorer than this guy. And that is why Mbappe will beat their 9 and Vinicius will play from the side. Except tomorrow, the coach now decide, or the board or whoever decide that, see, make we cash out on this guy. And there's no problem. I mean, things happen for whatever reason. But that's my position on this. Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to go to Olasalam now, maybe to get the final words on this. As you can see, that it's changing what people see as the king or the face of Madrid. I don't know if I quite, accept that Mbappe coming to Madrid made him the face of Madrid, because I think he still had to, put in the work. Would you say that what Mbappe is doing right now, has he put in the work to deserve that tag as, the prince of Madrid and taking over, that tag from Vinicius? And do you think by the end of the season, who do you think would be in the shout for the Ballon d'Or? Would it be an Mbappe? Would it be a Vinicius, or would it be both?
Okay, so if we are talking about this season, I think about this season, I think Mbappe is actually going to get the shout of Ballon d'Or, and in the next season, in the season to come, he's going to get it, because just like what Sho said, I mean, you can say Vinicius Jr is maybe a big creator of chances, but Mbappe is a kind of player that he will create his own chances and score his own goals. I don't think Vinicius can live up to that hype. So if it comes to the general trophies, comes to awards, I mean, both of them have a very good country and they can actually compete when it comes to international trophies. So Mbappe plays for France, Vinicius plays for Brazil. I think France still has this currently, France still has this upper hand when it comes to trophy winning compared to Brazil. I mean, Brazil generally, the team is washed. And now what are they calling? When it comes to Real Madrid, I think with the way we are seeing, this is Mbappe's first season and he has outplayed Vinicius. He has scored more goals. He has scored more assists. I mean, you see him scoring a hat-trick in a game that received Vinicius in. I mean, if you look at the goals and assists that actually gave Vinicius Jr. the Ballon d'Or shout, Rafinha is country mate has surpassed. He has gone past the statistics. So I think based on the consistency of Mbappe, even when Mbappe was in PSG, he has always been consistent. The World Cup, look at what he did in the World Cup. Mbappe is not a player you can actually forget about. You can be on a team. I watched the Madrid game today, and for about 20 minutes, I did not see Vinicius Jr. But if that actually happens to Mbappe, till the referee blows the whistle, you cannot say Mbappe is not going to do one thing. It's actually going to have that moment of magic, and that's what makes Mbappe special.
Yeah, I don't think I agree to that because I think you're actually describing Vinny, but I don't want us to drag the conversation. So let's just move on to the next bit. Actually, maybe we'll come back to that another day. I mean, we have other things lined up for today. For the next is again Arsenal. I mean, people will say we love Arsenal so much because Arsenal fans are loud. They are very much online. They have a lot of airtime on every media platform. And I know Olasadam will say, oh, English this, English that. But this is actually an internal issue that we want to put to bed over the course of the week. I mean, a fallout from the last podcast where we were trying to find out what the issue was with Arsenal, who's to blame. They don't have a striker. They don't have a squad. Some members of the team have said it is Arteta who, I mean, people have said don't put Arteta in the equation. The board simply did not back him. And some other people have said, no, you can't exonerate Arteta because he also has influence. He is also part of the decision makers in saying who they want to bring to the club and who they are not going to bring to the club. This discussion is to put it to bed. Now, over the course of the week, Rollins and Opeyinka on the same side have said Arteta did not get backing. OPK, can you state your claim? Why do you think that Arteta was not backed enough, especially in January, for him to be able to, replace a striker that was injured or even get a striker?
Thank you for this great opportunity. Actually, I never said. I think the issue is sometimes when we are talking through chat, it's actually easy to get wrong.
Okay.
So I actually didn't say at any point that Arteta was not. What I said was you cannot point your fingers at Arteta to say that you are going to blame me for why Arsenal did not get a striker. I said he's just a manager, a coach, or whatever it is. Normally, I think every organization, they have organogram. You have your job description. As a coach, you're supposed to identify who you think is good for you for your team. You tell the board or whoever, sporting director, who it is, okay, this is the player I've identified that will add something to the team. Then the team goes ahead and say, okay, we'll negotiate, we'll see the salary, we'll talk about it. A coach is not supposed to talk to a player about how much are you going to earn. It's not his work. The conversation coaches have with player is, okay, I'm going to make you a best player. I'm going to do this. You are going to play for me. You fit into my philosophy and all of that. That is what a coach is supposed to do. But I find it hard that Arsenal fans now just say, okay, Arteta did not sign this player. He does not hold the post. Yeah, you cannot fully exonerate him from what is happening because he's part of the team. But the same way you cannot fully exonerate him, you can't fully put the blame on him because it takes two to tango. So if Dele said last time that Arsenal currently does not have a sporting director, I don't know how true that is, but if truly Arsenal does not have a sporting director, then these are the issues serious Arsenal fans should be talking about. Not saying a coach did not sign a player. A coach is not supposed to negotiate how much a player is supposed to receive. It does not hold the purse, for God's sake. So that's what I've been saying. I didn't say it was not bad, but what I was saying on our conversation was there are a lot of things that happen behind the scene that we don't have information on. We don't know what it is. Maybe it is salary breakdown. Maybe it is a difference in fee. We don't know. But we can't just particularly come out and say Arteta is at fault for not getting a striker.
Okay, so I think where this conversation started from was, Rollins said that, I mean, he did say things like, oh, the board did not back him, and that's why all these things have come into play. And I don't think anyone has completely have said, oh, Arteta, you are the sole reason why a striker has not been purchased. But
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
I was not on the last part.
yeah,
Good job, inside.
I said
but,
was not
but
bad.
okay, yeah. Now why I call you Agbejo, because you Agbejo another person. But let me bring the Arsenal fan in Dele. Now, can we fully exonerate Arteta? Does he have a part to play in why Arsenal do not have a suitable squad to compete and win the Premier League title?
Thank you, my host. I will start by saying I never gave Arteta 100% blame. The only this, like you said, this discussion started when Rollins was talking about everything is solely on the owners. But my own issue is there is no way you have 10 or 11 transfer windows, you buy 31 players, and only 5 are attackers or 4. So what happens when they all 4 get injured? Today, we saw what's it called? Napoli. When Napoli bought Billing, everybody was like, why? Why Billing? Like Billing is not even starting for Bournemouth. But today he gave them that 1 point might be so crucial at the end of the season. We don't know. Now, the video that was going around on our group was saying, Arteta said, if he sees the right player that is going to improve Arsenal, he would sign. I don't know, maybe my English is bad, but what that means is, to me, is they are players, but I don't think these other players that are there would improve us. Aston Villa, please remind me, the boy that uses left from PSG, Asensio and Rashford. Arsenal did not see them. Aston Villa, since January transfer window now, go and watch how many points those two have gained the team. So we can't keep saying is the board 100%. That's where my issue was. The board gave you 200 million. You bought 100 million DM or midfield, I don't know, CM or DM. That's Declan Rice. You did not, you sold, or is it the board that also let the other guys go? Now you let 4 attackers or 3 attackers go. You did not replace them with any attacker. You went to go on to buy Van Dam and the other model. That's my own point. I mean, he has tried. If any Arsenal fan that says Arteta has not, tried for Arsenal, that's a lie. But is he the one that will take us maybe to win after 21 years or 22 years? I don't think so. He needs to go 5 years going. I'm done with the project. Thank you.
So, okay, I'm going to bring Olasalam. Olasalam has a word of response for Dele right there. Dele has said, you cannot fully exonerate Arteta. He's said, according to his press conference, that there are players. I mean, just to fully say what that video clip was saying is, there are players, but it's not just a player. It has to be down to several other things. The market, the transfer fee, willingness of other clubs, and all those things. And the point I think that is interesting to make is, it looks like Arteta is being picky with the kind of striker or the kind of player he wants in the attacking phase. Could he have just gotten something at least, to give himself cover, even though we know that he wasn't. Yeah, could he have just try to get something, because it looks like he was just being picky, basically, OPK.
2 things quickly. Number 1 is Dele saying, look at Rashford, look at Asensio. So these were part of the issues I was trying to mention earlier on. Rashford 1 is on a 350k per week salary. These are things that clubs don't want to destroy their wage structure, right? Especially for a player you don't even know what you're getting from. So as I said, sometimes it's okay for us to talk as people that don't have knowledge of what is going inside. But a club,
Sterling, I'm sorry to cut you short. But Sterling is also there now.
But with that, I'm saying we don't have idea of what is. Arsenal is not paying the whole of Sterling's salary at the moment.
And I don't think is Aston Villa footing the whole bill. I mean, when I
That's
say sorry.
So these are the
bro.
conditions I said we don't fully know.
So when I mentioned Asensio and what's in it, I wasn't directly saying Arsenal should have gotten them. I was just trying to pick out that nobody saw those two transfers going to Aston Villa. That's what I'm saying. Barcelona is right there. Barcelona has a lot of attacking players. Some of them cannot even get into the starting lineup. He could have loaned one or two. PSG, Kolomwani was there. I could keep going.
You know what I get from all this? I think you just want any striker, as long as the striker, even if it's Lukaku, you don't mind.
I love what you just said.
Yeah, but it doesn't work out.
No, I'll ask you a question before you move on. Would you take any striker or use Merino as your striker?
So here's the thing. When a coach was talking about a player being versatile the other day, I was showing a video. So it simply means that in the back of his head, he has an emergency player. I think that okay, if everything goes wrong, I can throw this guy on. He might be right and he might be wrong. He's human after all. He's not God. But that is what he thinks.
Okay. For a team going for chasing down Liverpool or saying they're going for a title, you have your backup, the second plan as a utility striker. Come on, man.
So, but you have Kai Havertz, you have
video.
Jesus.
Even this same Kai Havertz you're talking about, he mentioned it. I sent it on the group. He mentioned it that he didn't buy it for a striker. Gabriel Jesus you are talking about has been injured it's like pregnancy. He gets injured 6 months or 9 months. He comes back for whatever, gets injured again. So that's what we're saying. How would a team 5 years going into your project still backing on a Kai Havertz, which okay, let's even exonerate Kai Havertz, a Jesus that is not fit, but you let every other person go.
But you know that Arteta's philosophy, main part of his philosophy came from Pep.
Bro, there's no philosophy if you don't win trophy.
Wait.
I don't want to hear philosophy about Arteta.
Now, let me learn. So most of his philosophy came from Pep. Pep went 2 years or so in Premier League without a regular striker, which is what things plays to his strengths. I think even Pep became more. It became easier to defend against when he started using a 0.9. So that I'm saying that you see sometimes we don't know these things. We are just going to say, okay, he didn't get this. But when a coach says, okay, I want a particular profile, he has a game plan. He wants. Hold on, please let me learn. So he has a profile of a striker he wants. He does not just want to go for any striker, which is quite understandable. But my main bone of contention is even here that Arsenal fans are complaining that. So one would honestly think that before Arteta, you guys were successful. Arteta is the only reason why you guys are in this conversation of okay, you are here, you are contending. Okay, people can say you are second.
Is it free? I mean, is it not getting paid?
But it's the reason why.
Before we switch to this, before I forget what I wanted to say, I think you are also missing the point. The point is not about a top 9. When I started, I said 31 transfers, 4 or 5 attackers. The point is not just like a 0.9. That's not my basic point.
So let's do a simple start now. Easy. Okay. Please, let's check teams with highest goals scored in Premier League this season. So I want to point out something to you. Please, can someone look up that fact for us that Premier League teams this season, like which teams have like highest goals scored, please?
It will be Liverpool. Arsenal will be like 3rd or 4th. Okay,
so they are getting the goals distributed among their. So does that not tell you that he does not rely on a center forward?
Bro, I just said not a center forward. I just said this English now. I said I'm not blaming the him on a top 9. I'm talking about an attacker. You keep going back to this is English I'm speaking now. I'm not saying Arteta should buy a top 9. I am talking about attackers. You are basing you're saying Arsenal is scoring.
Okay. All right. So let me just come in here. Okay, just one question. I think Dede asked the question that you did not answer, which is, would you a striker, for example, over Merino? If you was an Arsenal fan and you see your team, starting Merino as a striker, but they had the opportunity to at least to get any sort of striker in January and they did it, would you be happy as a fan?
So right now, no. because now we are aware of the situation on ground now. We know that Arsenal needs a striker now. So I would say no.
But they knew this since before the end of the transfer window. Actually, they knew they needed. They knew that they needed it.
But they didn't know Havertz was going to get injured and Gabriel Jesus was not going to get back.
Okay, so what I'm saying is they actually, there was rumors they tried to get Watkins, and that's because they knew that there was long-term injuries, for example, for Jesus, right? They knew they were thin up front. Saka was getting injured. They knew all these things, which is why they had those attempts. So I think Dele is just pointing to the fact that there are other teams who have gotten other attacking players. Why was it so difficult for Arsenal to get?
I would like to know the teams that got the attackers in January.
Okay, so Kolomwani, like you mentioned, had the move. There was Rashford who had the move. There was Asensio who had the move. There was even the ex-Arsenal player that
Mahmoud.
There's Mamouche that had the move. So you see, there's this host of attacking players who have had the move. Some of them were not even permanent. Some of them were actually, they were just, loan players. Could Arsenal have not loaned any of these players or even another player?
Sorry, Opayinka, I'm so sorry to. I just want to say this before you make, so you can chip it into. Do you know PSV, the Arsenal is playing in the Champions, has after the draw they had an injury to one of their players. They still have the Jungle, the tall guy. They had one. They went to bring out a free agent, former Arsenal player, Lucas Pires, or what is it? They retired last year. They signed him up. So my own, what I'm trying to tell you is, I'm not saying go and buy a Osimhen in January. Okay, yes, you understand that. Okay, you are looking for summer, but any attacker at this point is good. We don't even have the only two attackers we have right now, as of today, is one Kwankwaso, as this guy calls it, and Trossard. Because Sterling is just, I don't know what he's there for. And I didn't buy Sterling. I didn't loan Sterling. He was the one who brought Sterling in. Or is it the club too? You are fighting Liverpool for the league, and you only have two attackers or 2.5. I'll use Sterling as half. You can go on.
Okay, so if we look at it now, if we agree that let's leave the center for now, talk about attackers now. So let's look at it now. Okay, so Liverpool, they have Salah, they have Jota. I'm not sure if anybody wants to count Nunes as an attacker, but if you want to go, you can count him.
I'll take him right now.
You take Nunes
ahead of Moreno. Hell yeah.
Okay, so let's just look at it now. So those are 4 attackers with what's his name? Luis Diaz. So Jota, Salah, Nunes, Diaz. Who again? And Gakpo 5.
No. It's not finished. The one they loaned from Juve. I mean, they bought from Juve.
That barely kicked the ball in the Premier League.
He played in FA Cup and Cali Cup. Now, what are you talking
but he has not played in the Premier League.
No, because they have better. That's what I'm saying. They have better options. That's why he's not even playing.
Okay. So let's count.
They have Elliot too.
He's not an attacker.
What is Elliot?
The midfielder.
What is Kwankwaso? You think Kwankwaso plays Saka's role?
Okay, so wait. Okay. 5. Okay, so 5. So let's count.
No. Count it again. 7. Liverpool have 7 attackers. Count it again.
There's 7.
Salah.
1.
Luis Diaz.
2.
Diego Jota.
3.
Nunes.
4.
What's the Juve guy?
You can't count that guy. I don't play
Why
Premier
can't you
League.
count Chiesa? I don't understand. Is it not registered?
Okay, 5.
Elliot.
Okay, 6.
Jones.
Jones is also an attacker.
What is Jones? Thomas Light. Thank you. What is Thomas Light?
So that's an attacker. Who said Thomas Light?
So almost like they play first line for them. They play first line for them.
What is the agenda?
Count us now.
Okay, so thank you. So Arsenal, you have Martinelli.
What?
You have
I'm talking
Saka.
about available.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
Which one is available? Is it not registered?
Go on.
So you have Martinelli, you have Saka, you have Kai Havertz, you have
3.
Gabriel Jesus, you have Sterling, you have Waneri.
But why you can't do one in? Why is attacking midfielder?
He's not a winger. Does not play
No, they only put there because of Saka.
Well, he counted Elliot now, and I agree.
Okay. So you agree to counting Elliot? Okay, keep going then. We'll give him the point. Oh yeah, go on.
That's
6.
I also counted 6 for Liverpool.
We can counted 7. Sorry, not
with
6.
Jones now. Why we put
Sabo slide now.
Soboslai is not an attacker. Why you go and sit down there? He's not.
What is he?
let's be serious. So we've counted 6 attackers for Arsenal, 6 attackers for Liverpool. What is the difference now? I bet you if Salah got injured during this season, or let's say a even let's say Salah got injured during this season, would Liverpool be where they are today?
I mean, you don't know.
You don't have to be diplomat. You don't have to say you don't know. We know what will happen. So
I mean, it is numbers, yes.
So we've counted 6 attackers for Liverpool, six attackers for Arsenal. So as a coach, if I'm going to a new season with 6 attackers, I think I'm okay. Because even as a coach, I'm thinking about how do I fit all these guys in. After all, they are not good. They don't know, okay, when season starts, you get
just being diplomatic. Before the January transfer window, how many attackers did we have? As of December, Jesus was gone. What is his name was gone? Saka was gone. Martinelli was gone. Only Havertz was there. Then, as of December, in January, even before the transfer window opened, everybody was speculating. Oh yeah, Arsenal is going for this winger, that one, this one. That we already thought, oh, we're getting 2 wingers at least, even if it's not the top 9.
Okay. So what I want to ask Okpenyinka, just a yes or no. Should Arsenal have gotten an attacker in January? Should they have? Whether it is, I'm not laying blame now. Should they have gotten an attacker, knowing what they know? Should they have gotten an attacker?
Yes, they should have gotten an attacker. But,
Okay, so
but if the coach is saying that he wants an attacker that fits into his profile, I don't think I'll blame him for that. That's
okay. All right, no problem. I think you guys have had enough to say on this topic. I'm just going to leave Show to have the last words on this show before we move on to the next thing. Show, what are your thoughts on what has been discussed?
Okay. Generally, I think that Arsenal needed a striker even in the summer. They didn't, and they ended up with Sterling, I think, and then one Model and Merino. Technically, it means that Arsenal has about 4 or 5 left backs, if I'm correct. Model, that's Calafiori, Zinchenko,
Tierney.
like Tierney, and that small boy. What's his name?
MLS.
MSN. Yeah, that's 4 already. And I'm not talking about the likes of maybe Kiwi who can still who can still manage their Timber and the likes. So ideally in the summer they should have gotten a striker, not even an attacker. Forget the attacker. Those attackers stuff were like trying to get a backup for Saka and maybe trying to get someone who can displace Martinelli because of his form. But
sorry to cut you. Whose failure? I don't want to hear Dele or Okpenyinka now. Who do you think should have the majority share of the blame for assembling such a squad or for not even addressing the concerns of the squad? Do you think people are right to point fingers at the board or at the main person who has assembled this board? It should be,
Okay, we all do not know how the hierarchy works in these places, so I cannot totally say this is the person at fault. But of course, all of them have some percentage of blame. The only reason why I would lay some blame to Arteta is because he got 1 or 2 guys in other positions. So that means you are literally saying maybe those positions are more important than the striker at that moment. If the striker was your priority, for example, Mayu left back was a priority in this January and they got 1 person because we know it's not a matter of we needed other places to, but see, this left back is a must and they got someone. So that's the only reason why I will be blaming him, because of at the end of the day, he's not the one that will go out and sign the striker. He will just, give his own recommendation. So of course that's why I said I will also give him some part of the blame.
Okay, all right. So I don't want us to drag this over, otherwise we will not leave here. So I'm just going to move on to the next topic. The rest will go on in the group as usual. I think I'm going to skip this topic because time's a bit gone. We'll probably address it in the next topic, in the next pod. The final topic for today is, Barcelona. I don't know if I should call him a Barcelona legend or even an ex United player and a Barcelona legend, Gerard Pique, has come out over the week to say a few things about the current crop of Barcelona players. I'm going to bring Spanish correspondents in now. Can you tell us what exactly is happening at your club? What did Piqué say, and what do you think about it? Alasa.
He recently had an interview and he said when he was asked about players like Kubasi, Balde, and Gavi, he said somebody asked him that would those with the kind of players with the players we have in Barcelona now, would they have had a chance to play in his generation? And he said he actually thinks those players play out of necessity and not because
Do you think that's
I
disrespectful?
I mean, coming from a Barcelona legend, I would say it's a bit disrespectful. That doesn't mean it's not saying the truth. But I mean, you could have put it in a better way because if you look at these players, you look at a player like Kubasi. Kubasi is just 17 and he's on his way to.
I'm going to bring show. Um, Seeing how I don't know if you rate. Firstly, did you rate these Barcelona boys, Kubasi, Pedri, Gavi, Rinkaka, all these boys? Do you rate them?
Okay, so for me, I personally like young talent. When young talent, uh, come up and they show some, signs of, raw talent, I usually appreciate them. However, young talent alone will not take you that far. You need some level of experience because as young talent, they will cost you games. So you need some level of maturity, so that you can have a sort of mixed, a balanced thing. So some of these guys are very good. Sorry, don't let me say very good. Some of these guys are good, like good. Yeah. The only person I'm not totally convinced about is Gabi. To be honest, I really do not, like that. Like that. I'm not saying he's not good, but personally, I'm not his fan. Yeah, but the Kubasi guy and Pedri, yeah, I rate them reasonably well because they are, good players and they can get to wherever they wish to. But of course, we all know that anything
Should
can
age should
happen.
age be an
You know,
should age be a barrier for them to? I mean, based on the performances they've been, you know, bringing. I mean, they've been posting of late, not even of late in the Barcelona team. Don't you think they are proving why they are playing, or do you think they are being overrated for being played at such a young age?
okay, overrated could be an overreach. You know, sometimes teams go into some form of crisis, and then young talent springs up and they prove themselves. Liverpool needed a right back. After this guy, what was that guy? That Ghanaian or something. That guy that was playing right back for Liverpool then. I forgot him. That had to move to either Crystal
Ghanaian?
Palace or so. I forgot him. Was it?
Oh, okay. Was not Ghanaian, no.
I forgot the guy's name. Yeah, I forgot the guy's
Nathan
name. I mean,
Klein or something. Clyde or Klein.
Yeah. So, it was the one that was playing right back for Liverpool at the time. Yeah, I recall. He got injured and they ran into some crisis. They no right back. And Trent came in. Look at Trent today. He's the one Madrid is trying to snap up. So, I mean, people can develop raw talent, young talent can develop into whatever they wish. Once they are in their good form, they just need a very good manager who will eventually mold them into something, and of course, their own willingness as well. So many things can go on, but as long as they are doing well, please leave them and let them do. Except you have someone who is doing better, so you can then manage their games and stuff like that. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't
All
think they
right.
are overrated. See,
Overrated. Okay. So, Opanka, now, do you think Pique was just being jealous to see, players? We know Pique's background. When he was young, when he was 18, he didn't get a chance at Man United. He eventually had to move back to Spain, and then he started, playing. He himself, after that move, he started playing consistently at Barca, and he won trophies. I say, do you think it's a bit of jealousy that he's seeing 17-year-olds getting a chance that he did not get when he was that age?
Yeah, to be honest, you even already said like 80% of what I wanted to say.
Mm.
Because to be I think one of the things I find very hard these days is the fact that the players that we watched, that we knew what they could do and what they could not do. Now in the age of podcast and microphone, they have say every market day as about player. Then I tend to wonder that even you watched you now, you were not spectacular. You played in a good team. So for me, I
Are
think
you talking about Pique? Are you talking about John Obi Mikel? Which one?
I'm talking about a lot of them, even Carragher, who watch them. And
Yeah.
if a player like, let's say, Henry is speaking, I understand, I respect it. And even his analysis of football is way developed. You could tell when Henry is saying something about football, you can probably get one or two things. But one of these players that Pique enjoyed football because he played in a very good and stable backer team. Right now, backer they're just getting their way back, so they're trying to assemble the pieces. And for 18 years, 17 years old players, they are doing very well for themselves. And if there's anything they need at this stage, is encouragement from the players they look up to. Like Kubasi
True.
should be looking up to Pique
Pique.
because you see him as a role model, not you pulling them down when you need to encourage them. Of course, if a 20 years old or 19 years old player will probably have a lot of places to improve, which is normal. Their development is a process.
Okay.
So, but I find it very difficult there.
Okay. So, Olasalam, now, this is your team right here. You do post a lot of, you play a lot of young players. Is Pique wrong to say that they are playing out of necessity because Barcelona as a club that's been run to the ground, they had a lot of, financial issues. They can't afford to sign players. Even when they sign players, they can't afford to register players. Does Pique have a point in that regard that these guys are playing ahead of the time that they are meant to be playing in the team?
Okay, so I mentioned when we're speaking about this Carragher's issue, where everybody just, especially these ex-footballers, they just come on podcast and they begin to say a lot of things. I mean, when you hear some of them talk, you imagine yourself and you start thinking, doubting yourself that did I?
All right, we couldn't get Olasalam's last words on that. That's actually the end of the podcast. There's not going to be any trivia today.
Is who won trivia last week?
We had Rollins had 2 points, and Olasalam had 1 point. So you're still leading with 9 points.
Even in my absence, Shaw and Dele could not win.
Actually, Dele had 1 point.
I wasn't around.
Shaw wasn't there. Dele had 1 point, but I had to take it off because VAR. It was Rollins that got it. So
Hello?
yeah. Okay. Go on. Then maybe I can take your thoughts now. Yeah, go on.
We all saw Pique play when he was in Man U, and we saw the way he was shipped out and he came to Barcelona. And speaking as an ex-legend of Barcelona, saying things like that they don't have the real confidence in them. Actually, you are taking the confidence away from them with that kind of speech. I mean, we all know how Kubasi, Lamine Yamal, and Gavi and Balde, they actually came to play. And I am a big fan of players actually taking their chances when they are given the chances, because those players are actually not the first people. Look at somebody like Boyan. Boyan could not play in a star-studded team. He could not even develop. And if you see the problem with Hendrick and Adagula in the kind of team they play in, I mean, the team is too star-studded and they cannot develop. But if you see a player like Yamal, Kubasi, and co, you will see, I mean, they know the progress of the club is on their shoulders, and they love this badge, and they are doing everything. They are fighting week in, week out. They've put up some top performances against some of the biggest strikers, against some of the biggest teams, against some of the biggest defenders. And you knowing the way these players evolve and knowing the kind of potentials these people can get in the long run, you can't just come out and say things like that. I mean, it's just it's a lot of bullshit coming from a lot of mics that we have on different podcasts now. I mean, Kubasi is a better defender at 17 than when Pique was, I would say, in
You don't start.
He's right. He said at 17. He's right.
Yeah, 17. He's a better defender at 17 than Pique was in almost.
You don't start.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you think the current Kubasi now would actually bench the better version of Pique when he was playing? Of course he will.
You know what it is? What I said before was I wanted to push into the team. Was he? But he wasn't given
Yes.
that chance. If he had been given that chance, the way Kubasi is being given the chance now, he left Madrid. You cannot say for a fact, just because Kubasi is at 17 and Pique didn't get it at 17, that is better at 17. You get? I just don't want us to start saying things like that.
Okay. But do you know players' growth and development is also dependent on the kind of time, the game time they get, consistent play time. Do you know that? Let's not forget the fact that these players, they have a bit of raw talent in them. I mean, they broke into the team. It may actually be a blessing in disguise because of the kind of crisis Barcelona was at the moment. But these players are making names for themselves. If you are going to mention top defenders now, I mean, you may actually count top to 10, and maybe Kubasi will find himself maybe around that list, or maybe around 11 to 15. I don't know a lot of defenders. I mean, if you are going to bring it to context, and look at a player like Lamine Yamal, we have said it on this podcast. He has done it on many stages. Let's just believe that they have taken the opportunity, and the play time they get, the consistency of their play will actually improve their play. I can't remember any game where Pique has single-handedly won it for Barcelona, because you played with somebody like Busquets. I mean, you played with a player like Lionel Messi. We have seen shit players play with Lionel Messi, and they also transform to be top players, maybe in that game or during the period where they play with Messi. So whatever he said it because he just had a mic in front of him.
All right, no problem. I think that should end it with the discussion. And just to add, I think what the young guys at Barcelona are doing, if there was no coach to give them that chance, we would not be seeing this. And I think PK is right when he said they are playing out of necessity, because if they cannot sign players or on big contracts, yeah, they will give these people a chance. Kudos to these boys that they've taken their chance and opportunity in the team, and they've made the best of it. People can see their talent. Even more young players across the globe are actually, getting more chances. I know. I mean, the boy at Bournemouth, Hudson, he's only 19, right? Playing week in, week out. Last year was at Roma. That means he was 18. But what was the difference? He got the chance, right? So I would like us to leave that discussion. That has been a nice conversation. Thank you for listening to the pod. If you listen to the end, thank you so much. If you agree or disagree with any points that has been raised, you can attack any of the the squad members. Their handles are there. Tag them. Let us know in the comments. Spotify and Truth and Banter on X. See you all on the next episode of Truth and Banter.